Evening and welcome to the April 10th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If everybody would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And welcome for those of you that are present or those of you that are viewing via cable network. We have no public hearings this evening. Any announcements? Remember, anybody on the board? Nothing? Addition or deletions to the agenda?
I'd like to make an addition if I can.
Okay.
Just speak briefly about the community center steering committee.
Do you want to do that during the Selectmen's report, or do you want to talk about that separately?
Can I do back and forth during the report?
Can you do what?
Back and forth conversation?
Sure.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Anything else? Okay, we have a couple of appointments this evening. Number one is with Brad Merrill on Pearl Street Extension. Brad, step up to the mic.
Good afternoon and good evening or whatever.
How you doing?
Started this about a year ago.
Yep.
And about 6 months later, it was like August or September, we were back and we made an agreement about parking down in front of the yard. That didn't work out quite right. Okay, pictures show. But anyway, we'll carry on. And the first time we were here, there was a junkyard issue, which was still ongoing. The junkyard, I counted 25 vehicles that have been sitting there for at least 5 years, and some of them been there for 20. And all of a sudden, they started walking tractors from Quonset all the way up to the shop. I don't know why they started doing that, but they did. And I think that's just a little ridiculous. The guy comes in, and he gets pulled up by the shop to get his trailer squared up to him back down that road. If that tractor could get off of the road, you got to take the trailer apart anyway. But he doesn't. He just backs in there, walks the tractor all the way up, and then they back in there, unhook, and they walk the tractor all the way back down. So that's the parking issue. That's obvious on my,
David,
in front of my yard.
David, you got the
And
laser you could use?
this truck, if you're coming in from the post office end and try to turn in that road, you can't see nothing. To try to turn in there. And this truck's parked up beyond, I can flip that.
Just push that button.
It's just a laser. Tell me next, and I'll move the slides.
That's how it works.
That allows you to point that stuff, that's all.
There you go.
How do you make it go?
Just
You gotta hold it on, right?
he'll move the slides. But
Just go to the slide, the next picture. So if you're trying to turn in that road, coming from the post office, that's what you gotta deal with. How do you see if there's anything coming down that road? I understand it's a dead end road, but it's still a road. Next slide. And this is what's happening to the road from walking those tractors up and down the road. I mean, it's clearly obvious it's paving the road all to pieces. Next one. And that keeps clicking because this is just going to show you tractors up and down. That park in front of the yard. It's in front of the yard again. Another tractor going down the road. The guy backing down to unload that tractor. I mean, that truck there, you're going to see 3 pictures of it. Had no idea what the kid was doing. He went up and down that road 10 times, just as fast as that truck would go. I mean, if it's a racetrack, let's name it as a racetrack, you know? And this is, they plow the left-hand side, I usually plow the right. Why? I don't know. But I was plowing, I took a picture, and I didn't know Dale was sitting in the trailer, but he was. Next slide. That's my property pin. Next one. I mean, he pushed all the snow on my property. Hit the sign. I realize it's a very minor damage to the sign, but it's still mine. And I don't know what they're doing here. You can't get down Grove Street if you wanted to. You've got to go into his parking lot. And that's right in front of me. I think I can't get out. And that's another tractor. He's backing in there. Now he's walking it up the road. I mean, it's just stupid. And even a car sitting on that corner, you don't got visibility. You can't see 50 feet down in there. Another tractor going up the road. Another one coming back down the road. And now it went on a little bit. Now he's going out the road with a. That's just showing him down there unloading. Another tractor going up the road. I don't even know why I took that one. Another one going down the road. Going back up the road, he just got on. Back down the road. I mean, this is the daily thing going on here. Backing down the road with 2 tractors. Bulldozers. Now he's going up the road with bulldozers. Then bulldozers are harder on the road than an excavator because they'll cleat down the tracks. Piece of junk. He seems particularly proud of that one. He got that one right out on the corner. I mean, the man, he's probably one of the wealthiest guys in town. And he lives in a junkyard. He's white. You know, I would think he would have to play by the rules just like everybody else. So, here I am. You gonna post the road for me this time around? You said you would.
Well, we're going to have a discussion, I can say that much.
Yeah.
That's the, at least first step is that you get back in touch with Doug Jr. and the folks. I mean, he's the one that, the day that we went down and talked to us of what they were doing and whatnot. So we'll have a discussion with them. We've got these pictures, right? I mean, we got an electronic. So
Last time I was up here, there was something said about some road signs down there. That never happened. I understand all this stuff takes time, but it's been
Stop sign, wasn't it, Brad?
the
end of the extension.
Yep,
Dead end sign, stop sign.
we're gonna put them up. It's been frozen ground this winter, and I know it was a while ago that you asked for it, but you just haven't, Brett.
I understand it takes time, but, you know,
Now that the snow and the frost is gone, I will get them in very soon.
May I ask a question?
yep.
From most of the pictures you had there, Brad, it looks like, my understanding was that when we met down there, when we settled this, it was going to be, there would be no parking on your side of the road in front of your property.
right.
Most of these pictures you've shown, from what I can see, the vehicles are either moving up and down the road or they're parked on the other side of the extension.
The white car was in front of my yard, and I mean, how many times is one enough, or 100 times, or how many times is it?
Well,
does it
I
need?
think the point is that when they're loading, and I understood Doug to tell us that he backs the flatbed down in way down back, and they load down there, and then he just drives out.
But you see, sitting right beside the shop. He has to drive around that sharp corner, get squared up, and he's almost up to the block.
Yeah.
You know, he's up there. It's ridiculous. The road should be posted. I mean, he doesn't even play by that rule.
Posted for what in your mind?
Oh, wait. All the other roads in town are posted.
You know, this time of year.
Oh, that's what you mean. Oh, springtime.
I mean, that truck's right in front of my yard. I can't get out of that yard. I mean,
That right there?
yeah,
I mean, it looks like you've got half the road to back into.
it looks like that.
From that picture.
That's not the case.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be able to come into that road and be able to see down the road, and you can't half the time. To me, he's broke the agreement. And plowing, what's going to happen now? Is that road ever going to get plowed again? Is a new guy going to plow that road? I mean, there's a lot of issues down there.
That would be a no, based on the agreement that we had with them that afternoon. It was like, we will always take care of that road.
And why
we
would-
would
and
not,
why
we would not want to see it on a plow contract,
Why?
because they're gonna plow the road.
Yeah, but they don't. The plowing down there is poor at best.
All right.
Whose pickup truck is that?
That's mine.
The one with the plow on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they work sometimes in late winter. They don't work Friday sometimes. So if we get a snowstorm Thursday night, if I gotta plow the whole road till Monday, I mean, I don't mind plowing the road, but if I'm gonna plow the road, I'm gonna have to bill somebody for it. I mean, that's only fair.
That's something that we're gonna have to go through when we deal with this new contractor.
This is the white car that's parked in front of your house?
It's not,
That's right in front of my yard.
Whose car is it, do you know?
I think it's Peter Foglio's.
Does
It
he
doesn't
work-
really matter whose car it is.
Well, does he work for Foglio?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that your house, Brad, there? Behind it?
Yeah, my property pin,
that's your.
Pearl
that's your
Street
side.
Extension stops just that side of the pole.
My question is, I guess, is your house to behind that car or to the left
Yes,
of the
it
front of
is.
the car?
Little behind it.
Good.
Okay,
In my opinion, he broke his agreement.
let's set up a session with whether we do it down there or here, or
I mean, what's he gonna do, stand down there all day long and say, no, you can't park here? I mean, I understand that he's a busy man, he ain't got time to stand
no, but
down
there
there.
is employees and he's responsible for the employees.
I've asked 4 or 5 people that work there. I know these people, I've worked with them for a long time. Nothing was said to any of those people about not parking down there. Those no parking signs that I got there, that's not legal. There ain't nothing I can do about people stop parking there. I mean, it's really not, you know what I mean? The only way that this is gonna work out is if the town posts that, and that will solve the problem. I mean, he doesn't have the time to stand down there, and I understand that.
All right, so we gotta look at a couple of things. If we do post it, it's gonna have to be part of the no parking ordinance.
I mean, there's another problem with all that stuff laying down there. There's tires. I mean, those trucks, they're perfect breeding grounds for mice, rats, mosquitoes. it's a health issue too, on top of everything else. The liquids are running out of them. I mean, a guy that runs a junkyard drains all that stuff out, but he just backs it in there and it melts into the ground.
I would think it would get better when they get out of the plowing business, is somewhere between,
Oh, it's not gonna get better.
well, there's gonna be somewhere between 4 and 8 vehicles that will be sold and won't be there because they won't be
Well,
plowing for
that
the
may be
town.
true, but he can't part with his stuff. He just can't part with his stuff. He's a hoarder, is what he is. He's a hoarder of junk. It would break his heart to get rid of that stuff.
That's your opinion, Brad. I mean,
I know.
He's gonna
it.
sell
I grew
trucks.
up beside him.
hopefully the person that's gonna be plowing for us will buy some of his trucks.
You know, the town used to plow that road. When that trailer first got put down there 40 years ago, there was a turnaround down there. I mean, that was before Doug ever owned that property down back there. I mean, they turned around in that yard. They plowed down, backed in, took off, you know. I mean, I don't have a problem with a guy backing in that yard that's going to plow the road. So the turnaround belt. I don't see many problems other than a few, but I would like to resolve them before I'm in the ground. I mean, I'm 63.
You're still a pup.
I'd like to see some of this stuff happen, you know what I mean?
You're still a young man. We will certainly take what you expressed here tonight, and we will see if we can attempt to resolve this. If not, then we will have to go to another route, that's all.
Do I have to come back, or am I gonna hear from you?
We will let you know, and if you got to come back, we'll let you know that too. But I think we can come up with whatever we're going to do and put that in writing to you anyway. So, okay.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
All right, next appointment. I guess Lisa is going to step right up to the podium. I presume you're going to introduce.
Yes, Todd apologizes for not being able to make it tonight. He is actually on vacation, so as his assistant, I am here to answer any questions if you have any, but really what this is about is bringing up Dave from Rustic Taps to explain what we would like to do at the Blues Festival regarding selling alcohol. But prior to bringing him up, does anyone have any questions regarding the Blues Fest? Are you familiar with it? You know what's happening? That's a very rough draft of a poster. I'm not going to put a lot of time into design until we have the balance of the logos. We've got about 4 or 5 more sponsors coming in. I can tell you that everyone who has heard about it is extremely excited. They're loving to see that there's going to be some good activity going on at the park. We did select Blues, as you'll see in my letter, only because it's a very good demographic for a first-time out big event. It won't draw 1,000 people. It might draw 300. But those 300 tend to be older, highly educated, with a tremendous amount of disposable income. So good tourism coming into Waterboro, good exposure for all the businesses supporting it. Any questions, or I'll bring up Dave.
Well, Dave is kind of the I guess he would be somebody that you would engage with if, in fact, we got to get beyond whether we have alcohol in Friendship Park first.
Right, and the reason I brought him was when we first considered it, I contacted all the other, there's 4 other Blues Fests that take place. They all do serve alcohol.
Yeah.
I found reputation-wise through the Maine Parks and Rec Association, as well as talking to Gorham Recreation, that Rustic Taps is by far the most credible, most organized, and it'll speak for himself when he comes up. This is what he does, is go in front of selectmen and get these licenses all over towns for for big events, and he's especially cautious and has all his ducks in a row so that everything runs smoothly. This is not to be a big drink fest, but we will actually make money off of selling some of the alcohol. We're talking strictly just beer and wine, and it is a daytime event, so there's not going to be mass quantities of drinking. But by having it available there, not only will we profit from it, but it will avoid people sneaking it in. Because no matter what you do, if you don't have it, they're going to bring it. This way, we've already posted no outside food or drink. We have the right then to search their bags as they're coming through and monitor it without any complaints, because if they would like to have a $4 beer or a $6 a glass of wine, we're going to make that available to them upon your approval.
And relative to the food, is he going to do the food as well, or is he just doing that?
We were just going to have him do the alcohol. What we wanted first off for the food was our local vendors, so I'm in contact with Corey from Woody's, and we were also talking with Heather, who has the Mexican truck, and then we will also be serving food. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we're in the process of, we found a sponsor to help us get the money to redo the larger snack shack that has been sitting there just about to fall down for years. Is now being worked on, so we'll be able to profit as well from selling our own, hot dogs, hamburgers, things like that, things that wouldn't compete with the Mexican food or compete with the barbecue. So giving people, variety. And Dave has given me cards also of several others, should any of those not work out. Because he does this so often, he has great connections with other food trucks, so we will make sure that there is a variety of food there.
Step right up here, sir.
Good evening.
So you would have the 1 day or 2 day license, correct?
We do. Every time we do an event, we are a qualified caterer, so we apply for the application for a catering function, off-premise permit. It's a day of event. We seek the local municipality approval, and then we submit our state approval for the event. And we take all precautions to make sure that the event is properly, barriered, so that we can guarantee that people aren't providing third-party consumption. A lot of times we look for a perimeter that's set up in a park or a festival environment, so it's a dedicated area for people to participate in having a drink. It wouldn't be just all over Friendship Park where people are just taking their beers and walking freely. But we'd work with the Parks and Rec Department to set up a perimeter. Sometimes we have to do 2 perimeters, one with just a snow fence around the area, and then another which can be our beer barrels and ropes, simply to show that there's an area to come and go, that you got to be 21 to come in and have a beer.
Okay. Questions, guys?
I've worked with many of these outfits like this, so I really got a lot of questions. I understand that it's, put them into a designated area and they're all fenced off, and I agree with Lisa. It's a chance they're going to sneak it in if it's not there, and if they can't sneak it in if you've got the right organization running the whole show. So you've got it in a 100 by 100 perimeter, and it's all fenced in, and you know that it's there.
All of our bartenders are tip certified. We take the responsibility of serving alcohol very seriously. If they're under the age of, I say 35, any question, my bartenders are responsible for IDing. In festival environments, we've found that if you have a lot of people all at one time, that selling the wooden nickels or the drink tokens can be a nice thing, because we can have somebody that's either putting on bracelets and checking IDs before they even get their drink token and or bracelet. So my bartenders have secondary knowledge that they've been ID'd prior to coming
So
in.
how do you handle when somebody shows up and says, I'll take 6, as many as I can carry?
Yeah, well, they have to have those people with them, number one. And,
So you manage the issue of, it's not like, Fenway or where everybody, it's as many beers as you can carry is what you're going.
You can't take it out of the tent.
Yeah, you gotta,
It's, in most cases, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is all gonna be under a tent or a fenced-in area, and they can't go out of that fenced-in area, so realistically, it's taking the liability off the town of Waterboro or the Parks and Rec, because they're holding the license, they're serving all of the alcohol there, and it's in a designated area. It's not back in the singing. You may set the tent up off to one side, the right-hand side or the left-hand side of your stage by a little bit, but the liability of people lugging it in is on the town and the Parks and Rec. Whereas these guys hold all the liability for anybody that leaves there that's got alcohol.
I think it's a partnership and collaboration.
Yeah.
But yes, he can't be responsible for somebody bringing their own in. I mean, that
But
certainly goes
they're
back to
not,
the police.
they're not gonna,
Right.
whoever's running security is gonna make them dump it out because they're not sitting in his tent.
Yeah, I think we do a good job at working with towns or any private events to just make sure that we're taking on we weigh the liability and the risk before we take on the event. I got a good feeling talking with Parks and Rec that this was not your, fraternity party. This is a nice community event put on by Parks and Rec. It doesn't typically attract a crowd that we wouldn't have, an easy time serving. Ultimately, the town always is responsible for providing the right amount of security for the mass gathering, and we'll work with you to make sure that we tell you all of the things that we look for. But at the end of the day, we're going to serve responsibly, and hopefully everybody has a good time in the process.
Okay.
What we've done in the past, I think, is a beer garden per se. So we have a designated area, but that designated area can grow, and we can do it a bunch of different ways depending on the amount of security and perimeter. So.
And it's just beer and wine.
Totally up to you. We've only discussed beer and wine.
Yeah, we have no interest in serving hard liquor.
And I think that's smart for an event like this.
Can you tell a little about the cool truck?
So we have a 1954 Chevrolet. It's been restored, and we're proud of it. This was our first truck, and it uses a cold plate technology that we have 3 cold plates in the vehicle. These cold plates are charged and get well below zero. Our kegs go in, and it's a big cooler. So when we come out, everything's self-contained. We don't require any power. Those kegs, we've had 25, 30 kegs in the truck at one time, and we're set up to do festivals, events, concerts, private parties and weddings, right down to your backyard barbecues. We've said no, I think, to more festivals and events that are public, simply because I'm not interested in that liability for events that I can't control. Yeah. This is a small enough event, and you're close by, and we'd love to work with you.
Anything from this end? Questions?
So the security, the town is going to be required to hire deputies and so forth? for this?
Yes, we are. That's part of our responsibility.
And what precautions do you take? You're talking about tokens. Is that how this is going to be? Because I can see somebody walking by and slipping somebody a token after they've already shown their ID and purchased it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. The tokens are nothing more than a way that we can set up a secondary ID station and take money so that the line goes a little faster. My bartenders are responsible for IDing anybody who they think is,
Even if they have a token already?
doesn't matter. The
If there's a
token or bracelet, they're responsible for verifying the ID. We can take additional precautions, and I think that's served us well in the past. If you're only talking 350 people, we put the right amount of bartenders and staff available. So even if we just did money at the beer tent, it's really a small gathering for the event that we would put on.
Okay. Anything else, Gordon?
So,
Ted?
In the past, have you had any issues where one of the patrons gets out of hand, and I guess my question is, are your people capable of taking care of something like that until proper authorities show up?
I hope not. I hope that we don't have to deal with that. I tell you that most of the events we do, if you've been to like your Uncle Joe's wedding, you hope that ahead of time you set your expectation that if there's a problem, we're going to pick up and leave. And that's our stance on things. If I see that there's alcohol coming in from other sources, I address it, hope that it goes away, and I tell the organizer of the event that if it doesn't, we're going to leave. Simple as that. It's not our choice to have a disorderly event or disorderly people. We like to. Generally, it's a pretty good time, and
that basically answered my question. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions?
So just give me Gorham Parks and Rec, what have you done for them? And where?
Cindy contacted us for the light parade, and we did recently the Gorham Business Exchange at USM. They had, I think, over 1,000 people.
Okay, so was that USM? Wasn't necessarily in a park?
Yeah, no, she was just one of the committee members that had, responsibility in seeking.
Eastern Trail?
Yep. Yeah, we just did the gala for them this past Saturday night at Camp Ketchup. Got some really nice emails back from the organizers thanking us for our professionalism and our bar service. We don't typically most of the events we get aren't problem events. I'd say that my biggest risk is when I go do a wedding and I've got 150, 200 people and somebody's paying for that wedding and they want to have an extra drink when it's time for us to close. We set our expectations about our start time and our stop time, and we stick to them. And it's sometimes tough to get a few beers and you want to keep going, but we have a start time and an end time, and we adhere to that.
Anything else? So Lisa, I would think we're not going to, nor is it on the agenda to us to act on this, but I would presume you guys are going to come to us with a request.
Yes, and we were just unsure. At first, we thought it was a special amusements permit, and gone through all the ordinances, and there was some question as to what you actually need for the next step from my department.
Okay. So I think Gary has run off and got the Parks and Rec ordinance here, and it does say that it's not permitted unless there's the possession or use of alcohol is prohibited, except as it may be authorized by permit on application to the Board of Selectmen. So I would presume that would be forthcoming from the parks.
Yes, we were just wondering which. I thought it was a special amusement permit, but is there just a blank permit?
Yeah, I think there's the mass gathering, there's the
we've got the mass gathering.
Special amusement. I think we need to resolve which one of those lines up with what the expectation is.
Yeah, the mass gathering, again, we already did, and Glenn has signed. From my reading it, if you read the actual special amusement permit, that one brings up the alcohol, and it would actually have Dave as the person requesting, because it talks, has his license ever been revoked from the state, things like that. There are questions that really aren't about my department. They're more about his business. Okay. So I think that is what, and I actually have that. I will submit that to Gary.
How much lead time do you need approval from the board for so that you can secure your permit from the state?
I try to pull all my permits a month ahead of time. I don't always get them. I had a wedding last year down at the Recipe Thankful Farm, and think the bride got me a week or two notice, and the selectmen meet once a month, I think, and so I had to email all of them and say, can you please approve this? But we work with our clients generally for something like this months in advance. Have a couple meetings, do a site walk, outline a perimeter, make sure we've got proper volunteers. I'd like you to think of us as we're your bar service, and we're providing tip certified bartenders, and we're providing the beer and the wine, and hopefully a good time. The rest, as far as any security or checking of bags, that's 100% of that organization. We will advise you of some of the things that you can do to make it easier that day. That's really our position in this, is making sure that you know all the little details that we've seen in the past.
Okay. So why don't we do this? I would say, and I don't know if it's, we're in April now, but we can certainly have a spot, if you guys are ready, on next week's agenda. And you can have whatever, I think, have this all framed out of what we need to approve, and then we'll make a decision based on that. But you'd have to have that in the packet and all that good stuff.
24th,
yeah.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. So, and that, at least that'll be behind you. If something goes awry with the festival, then, all bets are off. But at least that gets you in a position to start lining up folks like this gentleman or whomever. It sounds to me like you already get the music, but those crazy guys would play anywhere. I mean, they drop with a hat. So, anyway. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Appreciate the education.
Absolutely.
Okay, any public comments this evening? Correspondence, we have treasurer's reports, motor vehicle and excise tax reports, ecomaine February, recycling reports, Senator Woodsome's newsletter, reports, staff initiatives, selectmen's reports. Gordon, anything?
Just
tell us about your vacation, or?
I had a good time. The weather was nice down there. I'd just like to remind folks that school is in session, and the speed limits are significantly reduced around the school areas at certain times that are posted. I've received some complaints from some citizens in town regarding speeding in school zones on the old Alfred Road and along Route 5. So I'd be very cautious, because we are going to be notifying our contract deputies, and their presence may be seen in those areas, and if you are speeding, it will be to your detriment, because they have an endless supply of invitations to the district court. So just a word to the wise.
Okay. Those anything that?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Dwayne, anything?
Just a comment that if you're driving down the old Alfred Road more than 35 miles an hour, you're definitely driving to endanger, so there shouldn't be any speeding down through there the way the road is. But Zoning Board of Appeals Thursday night on
Continuation?
the continuation of the lake dock. So other than that, I haven't had anything.
Tim?
When we formed the community center committee, I pictured something that would fit, like on that piece of land that was donated. And I'm not sure that we ever really talked about what we expected out of it. And I see Gary's going to talk about it later, so I don't want to step on his stuff. But there's been some interest on that committee for a sports complex, expo, convention center type thing. And to me, it's kind of apples and oranges. And I'm wondering if maybe we should split off a sports complex committee, because I think that the Friends of the Library would be willing to help us financially and with advice on their last attempt. I don't think they'd be interested in helping out with a sports complex.
But isn't this the objective of the committee, is to come back with, and it may very well come back with the effort of, we got to split because there's a huge support for this one thing, and then there's another support for the other thing. But that's really what we're looking for the committee to do, right?
That was my question, was there an expectation with the other selectmen of what was going to happen, or is this kind of a blank check for that committee to come up with what they come up with?
I think it was a blank check to come up with ideas of what we needed or what the townspeople wanted. Whether it was a library, bigger town office, sports complex. I mean, this was a municipal group to come up with the ideas, and
Yeah, I'm not sure that, I think you're right, that Dwayne's right, that this was like a blank piece of paper, right? You get everybody, kind of the stakeholders involved, and determine, what is it that this could or would or should look like, and then, okay, where would you locate it? Okay, we're limited with X acres with the property on Route 5, but that doesn't mean that, you'd look, or, wouldn't consider that for some piece of it, or, something adjacent to it. But I just think
I guess the piece on Route 5, we'd have to check to see how that deed or
well, the
agreement.
The deed was very clear. It said it was a 5, as long as something substantially was started within 5 years.
Yeah.
But that being said, those 3 sellers would have to come back to the town and say, well, you didn't start anything, we're going to take the land
But
back.
it's only 5 or 6 acres down
It's
there.
4.8.
Yeah,
Okay,
4.8. So I don't see them coming back and saying, we're going to snatch that back. Maybe, if I guess they had a right to do that if they so choose, but that's something that would have to be initiated by them, I would think.
I think one of them has passed away.
Really?
But that was the intention.
Oh, that's right.
To leave it open-ended. It's not, it wasn't,
I think, to
when
me,
you say community center, it wasn't.
I would think it's very premature to say, oh, we're going to go 6 different ways right now. I think you got to bring this all in, because there's going to be somewhat of a
Gotta come back with a couple of
session,
different
right?
options.
That's going to say, this is going to be, the scope is too big, right? Or what we want to do won't fit, or whatever the case may be. So I think ultimately you got to shake all the trees here.
Let's
So.
just go with it.
Okay.
Fiscal realities will set in eventually.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else, Tim?
No, that was enough, thanks.
I didn't mean to say it that way.
Well, that's exactly what I'm
Hey, you
asking.
drink?
then.
Call
Give me
back that
coffee.
guy with that chilled beer. All right, town administrator's report.
Could I comment on what Gordon said about the speed?
Sure.
During the past couple of weeks, we've been down around the Central Station and Historical Society's property. And during that period of time, the contract deputies have been enforcing heavily on Route 5 especially. They've spent at least 3 days down there, and they were non-stop blue light. So they are already out there, Gordon, doing their.
I'm not suggesting that they weren't, but I was,
No, I just wanted to
was
let
just
you know.
conveyed
that
to
I
me
didn't know that if you knew that, that's all.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, they have already started, so. And I see that somebody, did we put that sign out there? That
What sign are you talking about?
flashing sign saying, talking about the school bus lights? There's one at the end of John Smith Way that someone has put up.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's a word board that is talking about school buses and lights and how it saves children's lives, and please adhere to them.
Maybe they got it from DOT.
I'm not sure.
They have a, Kevin had a new trainee with him. Is he kind of working with these guys in town, or is he just riding?
I don't know, I saw Kevin in Civvies today, so I didn't know he was breaking somebody.
When you leave here tonight, you'll be able to see the sign. It's right there at the end of.
Wasn't that the same sign that was up to Lakeside?
It could
Sitting
be.
on the, I don't know where that sign came from, but there was a sign across the street in their parking lot
Yep.
for a while, and
Yeah, put it in
I
there.
never noticed who,
Is it
I figured the sheriff's department had.
Is it a big orange sign or
Yeah.
is it flash?
Trailer,
It's a trailer.
it's a trailer
So,
sign.
so maybe the school did something.
Not sure, but it
It's
was
there.
there this afternoon.
Dennis, I think Tammy had her hand up.
The sheriff's office had the one that was across from Lakeside, but they had concerns about people stopping for school buses because of the daycare there, and people were not stopping. This was a month and a half ago. I don't know if it's the same sign origin, but I would suspect it probably is.
I don't think there's a name on that sign, so that's why I'm saying I thought it might belong to the sheriff's department.
County, yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Just, I'm gonna repeat it again, but that traffic problem that's down there by the grammar school is somewhere along the line at 9 o'clock in the morning, we've got to do something, because if that ambulance, fire truck, anybody needs to get up and down Route 5, it's almost impossible when those buses are coming in and the parents are dropping those kids off.
Well, somebody totaled 3 cars the other day in the parking lot.
Yeah, I heard that.
There was a 5-car accident there a week and a half ago.
Well,
too, so it's just-
I can understand why those buses now are empty, because the kids are all being transported by cars.
Sure.
And there's 4 or 5 kids on a bus, and the rest of them are.
On defense of the school department, because I work there part-time, every child in the district, whether they use the bus or not, has to have a
Has to
seat
have
on
a
a
seat.
bus.
I
That's
know.
why,
I know.
like what Dwayne just said, a lot of these buses are empty because the parents feel the need to transport their kids
And I
for whatever
can-
reason.
I can understand that, because some of the parents have to go to work and
Yeah.
they can't wait for the bus or whatever, and they drop them off, but it's still creating a major issue on Route 5.
The other thing too is there's been rumors that they want to make a bigger parking lot at that specific school, so I took it upon myself to speak with Larry Malone regarding the guys that did the tree work. I gave him their name and told him where they were from and what they had done for the town, that he might want to contact them so that in the future, he could do the same thing with the trees between the parking lot that exists now and the fence line, that they stop with the tree work that they did for you. So I don't know if he's going to do anything with that or not, but he has the information.
All right.
I think there is a solution down there, but it's just gotta be done.
Well, the solution is more space, right?
Yeah, and they've got that.
And it's going to get worse next year because Waterboro Elementary will start having pre-K kids starting in the fall. I don't know where the heck they're going to put them, but they're going to happen.
Okay. Town administrators report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Most everybody is aware by now, but the special election we had on the Malone property, the results were it was defeated on a vote of 198 to 173. My understanding that the water district will regroup and either pursue a new tank site with the possible future owner of the Malone parcel if it does sell to someone else, or they could take the selectmen up on their offer to put a tank on town-owned land. And I would like to reinforce publicly that that decision is totally up to the water district and has really had nothing to do with the town. We've been talking a little bit about the community center steering committee here. Their third meeting will be April 17th. The second meeting, had a wide-ranging discussion with Chris Burnett, business owner and basketball coach here, talking more about the athletic side of a possible community center complex, if you will, some of the profitability of If you build it large enough to do other things with the building, other than athletics, that can be helpful to the bottom line. And the next meeting will center more on library issues and what was done in the previous library development endeavor that was, what now, 7 years ago? Is that right?
Yeah.
Plus or minus. The municipal budget is essentially completed, and $482,000 is up on one-time capital projects, was a significant number, a significant amount. Waterboro's portion of the school budget increase will be $190,000. So these total up to $672,000 total increase, which is a very significant number. And in response to that, because of the healthy fund balance that we have, Selectmen have chosen to use up to $800,000 from our healthy fund balance to reduce the impact of the mill rate that will hopefully be less than 10 cents. So that is the goal of what we've been doing so far, and so far the numbers look good. In terms of June 12th election preparations, we've got a lot of things to talk about with the citizens and with the board over the next few weeks. People could receive up to 6 ballots. 2 for the town, the school, and the town offices. 1 or 2 for ballot. 1 or 2 ballots for state races if you're a member of one of 4 parties, a water district ballot, and an RSU ballot. We have a draft mailer that the selectmen have seen for the first time this evening, and Sherry and Dave have been very helpful. A lot of people have dived in to actually create this draft document that we will be eventually mailing to every Waterboro house mailing address in the town, and having them all around town, along with a detailed Excel spreadsheet and another more detailed memo that I create every year that essentially tells the reader anything substantial up or down in the budget. Be a tremendous amount of information available for voters to get informed. And you'll need to do that because this ballot is going to look very different. People that have never been to a town meeting before are going to see municipal budgets on a ballot and a question they're going to have to vote on. So we strongly encourage absentee voting. That way you can take the ballot home, you can ask questions of staff, you can gather the information that is background information, and be a more informed voter. And that's going to be important because it's going to take you longer to vote this next time. And some of the selectmen don't know this yet, but I had approached the folks at Lakeside Church to see if they were interested in possibly being a polling place, and they're not, so I'm just reporting that to the board at this time. And we do have to, I assume we'll be voting here in November at Town Hall, but that's up to the selectmen to decide that. Another thing to think about, we were talking about a sign. Do we want to rent a digital sign? It's about $250 a week for a sign on trailer as a digital sign. Other than any questions, that's it from me. Thank you.
Could we maybe rent space on Baker Automotive or?
Well, I think a few years ago, some of those local guys, local vendors, volunteered to put some of the stuff on. And I can't remember what the issue was, but so I think that we could, maybe approach some of them to, at least the week approaching the election, to maybe put something on there. But I just think it might make some sense for us to go out and get a couple of those roadside signs and set them up a week or so ahead of time, and so everybody at least knows where we're voting. And the other issue that you brought up relative to November, I think that before we go too far, I know that we haven't gone through the June election yet, but I think there is and should be an opportunity for us to sit down with a school, because I think that we have to have that discussion. I understand the safety of the complex and everything down there, but unless they're controlling access to that property today more than what they have in the past, we certainly can control if people go into that parking lot, how they go in and out of the building, right? But anyway, I think that's for a discussion. I think we need to have a discussion with the superintendent or whomever. So If not, we're gonna
I
try
guess
to
it's the school
run.
board that made the decision, but I
Well,
think
maybe
it's
that's,
pushed
maybe
on
that's where
from
we
the-
go, is to
from
go
the
to the school.
superintendent, so we should meet with both or somebody.
Maybe that's the first place to start, as a school board. Well, maybe, maybe we start with superintendent and then end up with the school board. But all right, let's go to new business. Discuss vote for an appointment to the cemetery committee. What is your pleasure there?
I move that we, Michelle Wyman to the cemetery committee.
I second that.
Moved and seconded to appoint Michelle Wyman to the cemetery committee. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. Discuss vote to whether approve the town administrator's recommendation for the snowplow contract.
Well, Public Works Director and I are in agreement that we would like to hire Mr. Boria to be our plower. I would take you to your packet that you have, and that front sheet that's in what you're looking at. There's no page, I guess it's page 6. It's where it says agenda item 9B on the front. The contract as it is written right now requires a bond. And what Paul has suggested that in lieu of that, and if you look halfway down that page, you can see that those 7 payments there, 50% of this money will not be paid out until March 1st or later. And he's asking that that be considered in lieu of a bond. And I could use your direction on whether or not you're comfortable with that. Certainly in dollars and cents, it's a very considerable amount of money to not have up front. The previous contractor had been asking for considerable monies up front to get started in the season, but Paul is willing to forego that if we do not require a bond. The contract is written to require a bond, and if that's what you want to do, that's what we will do. But this is an alternative that he suggested in his bid. This is right out of his bid. This is nothing that he changed, but it was his desire to at least ask for bonding not be required. Other than that, I think David and I are in agreement that we should move forward with this.
I think that's something that Doug Jr. recommended that I thought was a great idea. And I mean, that's the voice of experience to me. Why not listen to what he had to say?
Well, the bond is getting harder and harder to get for anybody.
Yes.
But you're talking almost 200,000. They're talking 250,000 between March and April. So you've got over half of his money held for the whole winter, and as long as he's got funding enough to keep these trucks going, and we don't have a...
Well, you're gonna find out about it.
Yeah,
before you
well,
have
no,
that.
I mean,
Yeah.
but fuel and insurance and labor, I've been down this road, and when you get started, you would have a few dollars just to register the trucks and put the fuel in it for the first couple months. So as long as he feels comfortable,
He has to buy some too.
well, yes. But,
What's a bond for $500,000? Do we know?
35%, isn't it? Isn't it 35?
I was thinking less than 5.
no, it was 25 years ago, it was 17 or 18%, so.
I think that the other 2 towns that he's been doing for quite a few years, this is the way that he's been doing it with Lyman and Dayton. And they both feel very comfortable with it.
You almost gotta have a rope around your neck in order to get a bond today.
You know, another thing is, for some reason, he defaulted in the middle of the season. This gives you the money to possibly hire someone out to finish it up. How long would it take you to cash in on that
Oh,
bond?
it could take up to a year.
Well, the winter's gonna be over before you get your money from the bond.
Yeah, you're gonna end up paying them.
Doug ended up saying that if somebody defaulted, it would take 7 or 8 months before you saw anything out of the bond.
And in the meantime, you'd be paying to
Yeah.
plow the roads.
Yeah.
This way you have
You've
the
got
money.
it, yeah.
All right, so what's your pleasure?
I make a motion that we amend the contract to delete the bond requirement.
With the stipulation that the payment schedule is as presented?
Yes,
Does that make
I'll add that in. Yeah.
One requirement be removed as long as the payment schedule presented in the contract or his bid is met, right?
That's submitted, yeah.
Does somebody want to second that?
I'll second it.
Do we want to discuss it?
I'm
You okay?
Any discussion?
fine with it, very good.
All those in favor? Opposed? Done.
Thank you.
Just for the people at home watching, this includes 9 trucks and a front-end loader at least to plow the town, so.
So he's going to provide his own loader at the transfer station?
Yes. Yes.
Mark this off, provision, so. All right.
Just to back up from it, this is absent the sidewalks, so that's a separate
That's a
issue
separate
altogether.
Altogether.
Separate one altogether. Discuss a vote to update the list of staff positions authorized to access MMA legal services. Those are the legal services that we don't get charged for. However, we have traditionally not just allowed anybody to call up there and say, hey, this is Joe from Waterboro, I want a legal opinion. So, does this add anybody or take anybody off? What's it?
Well, the important thing is that they suggested that we do this because in the letter that they have on file up in Augusta, it said the selectmen should specify positions and it shouldn't come from me. So I'm happy to give you these positions, and obviously we can attach a name to them, which would be in pencil, I guess, but they would be more comfortable if the positions were the dominant piece of data. That way, if the position changes, it wouldn't matter as much to them.
Okay.
So we can add or subtract from this as you see fit. It's up to you. We thought this was the minimum that would be needed.
I would like to see the chair of the selectmen on there. Only because one of us are getting older, and what happens if you end up out of the office, Gary?
Mhm.
You know? Today it would give Dennis, but,
Well,
whoever's the chair, but, and if this budget, I don't want to throw any real kinkers, but if this budget goes down, this town office is going to be closed for a few days because we ain't got time enough to run this, and one of us may have to take care of
So
what's
are
going
we-
to be done here in town, so.
Are we missing anybody? And I'm making the assumption that you have the town planner on here. The town planner would be an employed town planner, right? Not a contract.
I would not make that distinction because they still need the same information, but we can. You can say town planner only if an actual town
Well,
employee.
I mean, today we have a town planning service, and they have access on their own means to get some
I can
guidance,
say
right?
Southern Maine must have,
Right.
I've directed him to talk to Natalie on a number of occasions.
Well, that's fine, and, but that, he's a contractor, and I would presume that, and maybe that's a caveat that we put on here, is that with town administrator approval, right?
Well, the list needs to be in existence on MMA, or they will not take the call.
Why isn't all the selectmen on there?
I don't recommend that at all. You could spend a lot of legal money on willy-nilly questions. Oh, I'm sorry, we're just talking about MMA, we're not talking about.
Yeah, MMA,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say just someone representing the Board of Selectmen, typically that's the chair.
And,
But-
and you're, if something should be, then it would go to the vice chair.
Right, and that,
I don't
that
think we need to
already
include that.
exists versus the, in the
Oh,
policy
it used to
anyway.
have to have some type of a password,
Yeah, well, I think this is just a call to
yeah.
the legal guys up there, right?
Gary, excuse me, Chair, sir. You've got the administrator and the treasurer. Would that be the deputy treasurer? Because you're the treasurer?
Yep, technically he's correct. So put the word deputy in front of treasurer. We've got the town clerk there as deputy, so
Thank you.
that'll be correct.
Okay?
Back to your question about the town planner, would you decide on that?
If he's an employed town planner, I would say that he is, or he or she, in that position has the authority to call,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
If it's contract with Southern Maine, then with Gary's authority,
Okay, all right.
he could give them that. And I would put the caveat with the town administrator's authority, anyone, I mean, as long as he gives someone the authority to call, then they can call.
Well, I don't know that they'll recognize
They
that,
need a
though.
list.
If there's not a...
Well, they got nobody today. They got no list today.
No, that's not true. They have names, not titles, I think.
Right.
Don't you?
Last I knew, it was names.
Right. Well, this will make it a whole lot better.
All right.
And I can always ask a question if somebody else isn't on the list, so. This is plenty of people, I think.
Yeah, so-
We're gonna add the chairman of the board, is that what I'm hearing?
Chairman of the Board of Selectmen, or,
Okay.
and I think if I'm not available, that defaults to Tim, because that's the way that,
Acting chair,
right,
Yeah.
he's fills in to take over that responsibility.
yeah.
If another member of the board wants to talk to him, then I think we can do that as well. We just make a call like that. This just prevents them from getting a call from 25 people in the town of Waterboro.
I'll make that a motion.
Okay? So moved by Dwayne. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And this is for MMA only, that's the discussion.
You're abstaining?
Yeah.
Conflict of interest?
No?
Okay. Nine D. For whatever reason, Gary and my term, paperwork that we sent to regional, now ecomaine, was only good for 3 years. Those are running out, so we need to redo me as the representative and Gary as my alternate.
You're
For the
willing to do-
ecomaine.
You're willing to still do it? then?
Well, I mean, as long as I can do it. If
Okay.
I come off, then you said,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
appoint somebody else.
I'll move that Dennis Abbott be the member of the ecomaine directors, and Gary be the alternate member, Gary Lamb.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those approve? Motion carries. All right. My old computer is dying, so I'm going to do this the old-fashioned.
Okay, now,
Discuss vote to approve the annual municipal election warrant.
all right, you received one in your packets that was all black. And we got another one tonight that has blue and red with Natalie's changes. And we have English 101 class, I guess, and lawyering 101 here. But you folks just need to tell us whether you're more comfortable asking a more direct question of the voters. And let's go right to Article 3 on the front page. What Sherry had in here was, shall the town raise and appropriate the selectmen's recommendation? I think that's a more direct question, and the last thing we need is to confuse voters more. And what Natalie changed it, just because she called it ancient legal practice on something.
Well, that's the way everything used to be worded.
Yeah, Well, some of that is in here also, but to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate the selectmen's recommendation, etc., ends with a period. It doesn't end with a question mark. So I kind of agree with Sherry. Sherry's, will give her credit. She raised the issue here, and I called Natalie and got this fine-tuned definition of language and what thou shalt do in lawyer legalese. In plain English, I prefer shall the town raise and appropriate rather than to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate. But you tell us which way you want to go, and this document will be changed accordingly. And those changes are kind of through it, and then when we dispense with this particular subtopic, we can talk about anything else you see in here.
I'm a little hung up on, I mean, I understand that she might be talking about historical stuff, and that's the way it used to read. And it did used to read that, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate. However, in today's lingo, why would you even say, shall the town vote? Right? You're looking for a vote from an individual. And I would think that it would say, shall the town, well, raise and appropriate the selectmen's recommendation. Yes, I guess I get, maybe it. I don't know. I know that's the way that it always used to be, and it was always to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate. If you take what she added out and you put back what Sherry had, shall the town raise and appropriate, what is the town, I mean, where is the authorization there?
Oh, they are voting. They're filling in a circle here, voting on that question.
But the language is, shall the town raise and appropriate the selectmen's recommendation? Well, what we're looking for is an approval, right?
Yes.
I don't know why we get hung up on this wordsmithing, but
It can be a black hole.
boy, you can go around and round and round.
I mean, do you have a preference as to which is
See
more
if
clear to the
town
voters?
will vote too. What was Natalie's opinion to why it,
She did the red and the green changes.
right,
But she said historical,
Essentially, she said if you use the word shall if you're adopting ordinances. You use the words to see if for all other traditional warrant articles. That's the lawyer reason, I guess.
So, I'll make a motion to use the wording in red for the warrant for the town of Waterboro.
do I have a second to that?
per request of the town attorney.
Right.
I'm just moving it into the discussion phase.
Right. And the red, by definition, is what was provided by the town attorney.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do I have a second to that?
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. All right, now we can discuss it.
It seems to me that Natalie's version isn't really asking someone to vote. You know, it's to see if the town will vote. And then you're going to have a yes or a no circle after that. The old style, I think, is pretty clear. It's asking you, shall the town do this? Yes or no?
I guess I'm to the point where I can do this either way.
Either
but,
way.
You know, if you pull out a 5-year-old warrant, you know, or a 3-year-old warrant, you're going to see the language every which way but loose, right?
Could you word it, shall the town vote to raise and appropriate?
Well, she's getting hung, as you said.
She's getting hung
She's
up
getting
on
hung up on the
shall.
fact that, you know, if it's
The
just an
shall.
ordinance, shall the town adopt an ordinance? And versus this of, you know, should the, you know, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate. So I
And
think
you-
that's the definition.
And
that
you're
she's
changing
using.
it to a secret ballot versus a handshake.
Right.
That's the thing, we're gonna have hundreds of people, hopefully, voting on this that have never been to town meeting and have never seen a municipal budget question. And I think the less confusing, the better, and I don't know if you buy my argument or not, but
Sherry's waving around over here, so.
One of the reasons that I did change this is looking at last year's warrant.
tell them what you changed, what do you mean by that?
I changed it to shall, asking a question. One reason that I did that is because in looking at last year's warrant,
She
when you had all the questions on for the marijuana, if you look at the warrant, because it says on that warrant that they will meet and vote by secret ballot.
Yeah.
And then you meet again on Saturday to act on these following articles, the rest of them, which means to see if. So the reason I changed it was because now they're all secret questions, secret ballot questions. So that's one of the reasons I did that.
So you did it grammatically this because they're all secret
They're all
ballots.
questions. Because all the questions for the marijuana last year were shall.
Yeah, but if
They're
you
on
go
the
back
back.
to Natalie's argument, that's because there would be a quote-unquote ordinance or,
Ordinance change.
She doesn't really care. There's no wrong answer here. You need to know that. You're not going to get any legal jeopardy if you use one or the other.
Hopefully people are smart enough to figure it out either way.
It's a matter of style and ease of reading, I think.
all right. So we have a motion and a second to adopt the language, because that's all we're doing at this point, as presented by the town attorneys, which would suggest that the articles all read to see if the town will vote to. Right?
Yes.
Versus shall the town raise and appropriate. If you jump to like Article 9, it said before, shall the town allow state revenues, or should the town authorize a tax collector on item 10, and et cetera. So that is the motion on the floor, is to change the wording to what Natalie has recommended would be to take the shall out and add to see if the town will vote to in all articles. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed?
5-0.
You got it.
Okay.
That's pretty clear.
Okay. All right, now, the other thing has been in the green text.
Last two articles.
Last two articles have been added. Instead of having this as now a recommendation or a summation of what will be used, it now becomes a vote authorizing the 6 point. So Article 17 automatically, here the red lettering is 6,467.
Yeah.
So there's a typo there. Is provided above to raise the same as shown in estimates below, with $2,584,000 to be raised by property tax levy. Okay, so we would use $1,035,700 from miscellaneous department revenues, $1,443,859 from excise tax and rapid renewal, $20,000 from general assistance. I assume she spelt all these out. General assistance was just GA.
Yes.
800,000 from undesignated fund balance, 310,000 from rescue billing fees. That's the one that we added the 100,000 on the other night. 81.5 for MDOT road block grant. The 15,000 from ambulance subscription, 1,250 from the transfer station fees, and 76,231 from the cable TV fee. Really should be cable TV franchise fee, right? So the total amount that we're going to take from the municipality is $3,882,540.
For revenues other than property tax.
Right. So we now have to vote on that.
So moved.
Did you mean to change the question or vote in general?
Well, I think I want to do both of these, but
okay.
I would hang on just a minute.
Okay.
So that's the new Article 17. Article 18 then talks about the LD1. Do we know what the LD1 numbers are?
Well, remember, there's a note in here that is not filled in yet, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The actual question, the Article 18 question, is fine as is. You've told us how that should be worded, so that's fine.
Right. So the only addition here is the vote on the expenditure of revenues, right?
Article 17.
So now I'd take your motion, Dwayne, to add the new Article 17.
With no great increase. We aren't going to be over the LD, are we?
I don't think that we should be, but...
Well, can I talk about that now? Because it's a good question. We have a royal hornet's nest here in terms of trying to use the right numbers in this formula, which is always confusing and poorly supported by Augusta. Remember when we did the 20% valuation change townwide in all land?
Yep.
And that changed our valuation significantly. And we don't think it's fair to this LD1 process to go and use something that was a one-time shot in our valuation to really skew whether or not we're over the LD1 limit. You know, Shirley spent almost the whole day on this today, and I was there for part of the time, and we're still just nowhere but confused. And we've talked to a variety of people, and we're not ready to give you any numbers tonight, because if you do it one way, we don't need to vote and we're under the limit. If you do it the other way, and you're 6 figures over the tax levy limit. So that's why that's not filled in. We'll get it, and our goal is to have it done by quitting time tomorrow. But the form that Augusta uses has the wrong numbers. They should say FY 18 and 19, and they don't. They say 2018. And down in the sheet below, they have the wrong years for the data that they're looking for. And it's frustrating to no end.
Well, that's part of that.
That's
is
not
because
new.
They're trying to accommodate those towns that are still on a calendar basis versus those towns that are on a...
So do we need to put this on the table and leave this till Thursday afternoon and come back and...
Well, the number's going to be the number, whether it's zero or whether there's another number, right?
Yeah, the article question is fine.
Yeah.
It's just this, in this note, we need to crunch the numbers and fill that in.
Well, let's get the new article, if you will.
Article 17.
Which is to approve the revenues that we're going to raise.
Is that your motion, Dwayne?
Yes.
I'll second it.
Yeah,
So it's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion there in the other miscellaneous changes here, the capital?
It's just laying everything out to
Right.
where it's coming from.
Yep.
So all those in favor? Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
So now the question is, do we approve this municipal election warrant with the understanding that Article 18, the LD1 article, will not be finalized until sometime tomorrow?
So we may or may not have to vote for an override.
Well, the thing that I was told before, again from town attorney or MMA, is that you can always vote on this question because you can see how the question is written here. if you approve this, if people vote yes to this, even if you don't exceed the property tax levy limit, it doesn't do anything. It gives you permission to exceed it if you do, and certainly that will be on the ballot. There's nothing wrong in approving this question if you know you're not going to have to vote on it. On the other hand, if we knew that, let's say before this Friday, we can take the whole question out of the.
Well, that was my thought, was to take the whole thing out because we don't need it. And that's one more question that we ain't gonna vote on.
So let me
Just add the confusion.
right. Let me just ask the question because you gave us two scenarios. And I guess the culprit here is the devaluation of the land,
Part of it.
right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we keep that as part of this? That's the valuation of the town. That was a fundamental change that was made. We didn't go back in and raise it up.
You did a one-time change that in a year-to-year comparison is a 20% swing in your land value.
Okay. When we reevaluated in 2007, there was a significant hit on the other side.
Oh, Lord, I wouldn't want to compute LD1 after a reval.
Okay, so all that was a revaluation of the land.
Right, but
Didn't go back up.
You know doggone well that people that thought about LD1 were not thinking about that level
I'm
of
going to
change.
tell you right now, the people that thought about LD1, ain't any of them around
I was
anymore.
gonna say, they're gone.
The legislature will not dump the question. There's enough people that think it has merit so that it still lives.
They don't even know what the merit is.
That's an absolute truth.
Half of them don't know what an LD is.
So, anyway, I guess my suggestion is that we continue the same approach that we took last year.
Well, you could make a motion that if staff computes that we do not exceed the limit, the question can come out. That's what we would suggest that you folks do.
Okay?
What do you think of that?
That's fine. I don't think the number matters one way or the other. If there's a number, then there's a number. But if there's an opportunity for us to not have it in there, then let's not have it in there.
Right.
Okay.
And if you're only going up less than a dime, that's way under an LD.
Well,
Well, we're not
maybe
worried about
not,
that
because
today.
we're using so much of the fund balance that it's possible that we could still need this question.
Yeah, but we're
But
only
the
using
LD is
300K.
only for your tax dollar of your land and buildings.
That's true.
Am I right? I mean, we're not upping the tax. You've got you've got a kitty that you need to draw out of the taxpayers, and you're not drawing any more.
That's right.
And this fund balance and whatnot is the town kitty that isn't coming out of the taxpayer. It did come out of the taxpayers in the beginning, but it's this coming year, you're not drawing out of that taxpayer kitty, tax
Right.
dollars. So we're definitely not gonna be over the LD, in my mind. I may be
Well, that's,
completely,
I think you're right.
In the simplest of discussion, I think you're absolutely right. It gets a little more complicated
Yeah.
with that when they start running the
right,
formulas.
and I
But
understand that, but.
so is that the motion, is to approve this?
I didn't hear one yet.
Well, we haven't got one yet. I'm trying to ask for one.
Brian had a motion on the
Well, that was for the acceptance of Article
No,
17.
17, not 18.
So this is to approve the entire municipal election warrant with the stipulation that if Article 18 is not needed, it'll be dropped from the warrant.
Okay.
So
I'll
somebody
make
wants
that motion.
Okay.
I second that.
So then moved and seconded that the warrant will be approved with the one exception that Article 18, if there is no need for an LD1 article override, that it be eliminated from the warrant.
Okay.
Okay? Any discussion further?
I think we've determined that there is no LD1 override.
I don't think there will be, but.
So why don't we vote right now just to delete it?
Because he's not sure on how this is gonna come out.
He's got, they got
Let him work his numbers,
Right.
and if they come out okay, then we're fine.
Need to crunch them.
Okay? All those in favor? Opposed? Well, item F, public hearing schedules. Okay? I think we have a little hiccup here in that I think we can have a public hearing the next meeting, the 24th, one on the 8th,
And the 22nd.
and the 22nd. And we'll have to make a determination of whether we're gonna meet on the 12th or the 5th, but we don't have to decide that tonight.